opened YouTube on my phone, and one of the first videos I saw was from a big influencer with this hair dryer engulfed in flames. And of course, I was like, I gotta watch this video because I had recently just picked up that heat styling collection from The Do, and I was looking forward to blow drying my hair. Now I have several heat tools, but I was definitely considering between the One Step or the Dyson Supersonic to blow dry my hair. And I know that this influencer had been using the Revlon One Step for years. So I was like, let me see what's going on in this video and figure out if the One Step is still an option to blow out my hair. In the video, the influencer actually ended up using the One Step, and I thought that was strange because if it's a fire hazard and all this stuff, like why would you use it? But you know, she says that she didn't find out about the lawsuit and the recall until after she filmed the video. So she compared the Revlon One Step to a similar blow dryer by Conair. I just took the video at face value. Normally, if there is a class action lawsuit and a recall, you can get your money back for the original product. So I dropped down into the description box of that video, clicked the link, and started reading about the lawsuit. The first thing I noticed was that the lawsuit was started by a UK company, and it had actually closed 2 years ago, back in 2022. So, all right, I live in the US. This lawsuit's likely not applicable to me, but still let me read and figure out what was going on with the blow dryer. So the first thing I was surprised to see was that it wasn't a lawsuit specifically against the Revlon One Step. In fact, it was against almost every single brand that I recognize that produces a blow dryer. So the lawsuit was against Conair, the lawsuit was against Revlon, the lawsuit was against Drybar, Hot Tools. It named so many different brands in that lawsuit. And I said, oh, that's interesting. So I continued to read down the lawsuit, and in the lawsuit were reviews, a lot of them online, so they had the link to the actual review. Again, this is a UK-based lawsuit. Most, if not all of the links to the customer reviews were from reviewers based in the United States, which is important because with electronics, they work on a different power grid. So the US, the UK, and the EU all have different power grids. And there are a lot of electronics that if you take a US version and plug it into a UK or European Union outlet without the proper adapter, that they will spark and catch on fire. And vice versa. If you take a UK or European electronics and plug them into a US outlet, they can be problematic. So I was confused because if the Revlon One Step is sold in the UK, the internals will be different. So it might look the same on the outside, but the electric circuitry will be different. And just for a frame of reference, I have a degree in electrical and computer engineering. So I'm like, all right, maybe I know more about this than like your average person, but it was still weird that the UK lawsuit, well, at least this website, was using information from US-based consumers. But again, I let that go. The next thing I thought about was that there are some electronics that have like little switches on them that they can be used in both Europe and the United States. So I just went to the description for the Revlon One Step that I have, which is the same one that the influencer was talking about. And I was just like, okay, this one is meant for use exclusively in the United States. So I'm like, all right, what's going on here? So I didn't see any information about like the recall or submitting anything else. But I was like, this video wasn't that long. The video that the influencer put out with the Revlon One Air on Fire was not that long. So I said, let me go back and rewatch it. Maybe I missed something. So first I went to the description box. So that was the only link there in reference to a recall or the class action lawsuit. I go back and watch the video, and the influencer mentions that they've been looking everywhere for the Revlon One Step and noticed they couldn't find it anywhere online or in stores. And that was what led them to research the recall, the lawsuit. So that immediately, like, I'm naturally curious, naturally ask questions. And sometimes that's off-putting to people. So I'm listening and I hear this and I'm like, well, you had one at the end of the video. You already had a Revlon one step. So why were you looking for one online or in the store? So I was like, oh, that's interesting that they're not available anymore. So maybe there is something to this recall. So I watched that part, and then I watched a little bit more into the videos, and they had screenshots of some of the complaints that were against blow dryers catching on fire. And then things got kind of weird there too, because I'm looking, and one of the images, one of the reviews that they highlighted had absolutely nothing to do with Revlon. It was a review about a Conair blow dryer, because like I mentioned, that lawsuit had so many different brands mentioned, and Conair was one of them. So one of the blow dryer catching on fire reviews that they chose to highlight, if you pause the screen, you have to pause it because there's no way you can read it, you know, with flying by on the screen. So if you pause the review, it's for the Conair, a Conair blow dryer, not the Conair they reviewed in that video, but the complaint about the blow dryer sparking was for the Conair. I'm like, okay, maybe that was just another oversight. So at that point, I stopped watching the video. After that was just like the blow dryer demonstration. And I was more interested in the first half of the video, which was the lawsuit recall information. Stopped watching the videos. But I was curious. I'm like, okay, let me see. Maybe it's hard to find the Revlon one step. And I just didn't know this because I bought mine 5 years ago. And I actually haven't blow dried my hair in 4. So it was completely off of my radar. Like, I already have one, so I'm not really looking for one. So I Googled Revlon one step. And lo and behold, it wasn't that hard to find. It's available on Ulta, available on Amazon. I'm like, okay, like what is going on? I started going down this rabbit hole, and I was like, I'm not going too far down this rabbit hole. But I was just curious if there was a recall because I wanted to be able to send mine back and get, you know, some money back, a new blow dryer, whatever the compensation they were giving for the recall. I'm like, because I ordered mine through Amazon, and Amazon has all of my information, so it's not hard for me to prove that I purchased this blow dryer, and if it was in the time frame of the lawsuit, I want my money back. So that's the only reason I continued to go down this rabbit hole. So I'm looking for this recall. I don't see it. I can easily find the one step that they said was hard to find. I was like, you know, I gave the influencer the benefit of the doubt. They had previous reviews on this. I'm like, maybe they got it from somewhere different, that they just didn't sell there anymore. But I clicked the links and like some of their older reviews, and I'm like, no, it went to Amazon, and another link went to Ulta. So what is I didn't understand the difficulty that they were having in finding it, because I literally just went to an old video and two of the sites that they mentioned were there, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's weird. I'm not here to like call out people, I'm just here to call out information. I was like, that is so strange, because it took me 30 seconds on Google, like a lot of products, just to be able to find it. I was like, all right, let me put that aside. Let me just assume that they really did have a hard time finding it. Where's the recall? I just started Googling like Revlon recall, Revlon hot brush recall, Revlon Amazon recall, because it was weird, because for a big company like that, if they have a recall, it's not that hard to contact your customers who bought it through Amazon. So I'm like, why didn't I get contacted about this recall if there was one? So it turns out there was a recall. It was on the round brush, not the paddle brush like I have. So this one looks like just a blow dryer attached to a paddle brush. They have one. Revlon also has an edition of the one step, I think is what they call it. So they have an edition of that has a round brush, and those are two different beasts. So one beast being that is from the UK, like the class action lawsuit is from the UK. The other thing is the recall was for round brushes, and particularly the Amazon recall in the US wasn't necessarily for the Revlon brand. It was like Hot Brush X or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, so that's why I never got notified about the recall, because the recall that was in the US was not for the brush that I had. So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, how did the influencer who put this video out there come to the conclusion that that hot brush was going up in flames when I couldn't find anything like that? And using the information they gave in the video, I couldn't find anything to confirm that. So why would somebody put that kind of information out there? I'm gonna keep it honest. So what happens is, just like me, plenty of people have that brush, especially if they've been following this influencer because they are a fan of that brush. Like, they've tried more expensive hair dryers and they always come back to that one. So it's like, why all of a sudden is this suddenly a problem, quote unquote? And then I know there's something else in the video towards the end. You know, they're doing a comparison between the Revlon and the Conair, and I'm like, they got a price range for the Revlon. Like, so if you couldn't find it anywhere online, like, how'd you get the price range? But that's not neither here nor there. But overall, why would someone need to put half-truths together to tell a story about this hot brush? Like, I haven't been able to find any evidence that this hot brush, just based on what was in the video, I was like, I'm not going too far down this rabbit hole, but just based on what was in that video, I haven't been able to find anything that this exact product, the same exact product that they have, had complaints about it being on fire. But it's also weird because it's like, why would somebody who liked this product, you know, tell a different story? That's why when I first saw the video, I took it at face value. So if you've been promoting the same heat styling tool for 5 years, everybody in your audience likely has it already, or everybody who was going to get it has it already. And if you still love it, what reason does anybody else have to go try a different one? They don't. So I feel like it was done just for content's sake. And like I said, seeing a product that you own engulfed in flames, whether it's hair care or something else, is going to get your attention. I don't know if y'all watched This Is Us and how that crock pot went on fire and changed people's lives. So fire triggers an emotion. You see a beloved tool up in flames, you're going to click on the video. But I don't know, the whole video was weird. But I just want to put this information out there so that you have the complete picture if you're making a decision to get rid of that brush or not. I'm still going to hold on to mine for now. Like, I don't blow dry my hair very often. And there is a safety protocol on the description of this product on the Amazon. It's like, don't wrap the cord around the base, which we all do. You know, make sure you clean it out after every use. Yada, yada, yada. Things that you can do to help keep it from catching on fire. But yeah, I just thought that video was so weird coming from that influencer. But I just wanted to make sure you had the complete picture before you chase your tail like I did, looking for a recall that doesn't exist. But that's all I got for today, and I promise that video using the press play system from the Do is coming up in the near future. Thanks for watching.